Students, today is Monday, October 27th. This is our Halloween special.
Welcome to Harbor Highlights. I'm Councilwoman Taylor.
And I'm Mason. Thank you so much, students and teachers, for all your hard work on the MEEP.
I'm sure that our efforts will pay off. Now we have Hayden and Christian with this week's general announcements.
Thanks, I'm Hayden.
And I'm Christian. Here are this week's general announcements. For lunch this week, Monday, Crispito with cheese sauce and seasoned rice and beans.
Tuesday will be chicken tenders with broccoli and a roll. Wednesday is pizza bites with steamed carrots.
Then Thursday we have macaroni and cheese, green beans, and a cookie.
Finally, Friday there is no school, so enjoy your lunch at home and don't eat too much candy.
Due to MEEP, picture retakes are rescheduled for November 3rd.
Tuesday and Thursday is tutoring club in room 148 for any students who need additional help.
The chess club meets Thursday in the game room, room 131 for any interested students.
The Community Action House food drive is extended to November 13th. Bring your canned foods to your homeroom teacher. The items in most need are canned meats, fruits, vegetables, spaghetti sauce, noodles, pinto beans, peanut butter, boxed dinners, cereal, rice, and sugar.
Personal care products are also needed, such as laundry soap, toothpaste, shampoo, diapers, a bar soap. The homeroom with the most items wins a pizza party for Miss Start.
The first delivery of box tops will be made this week. The next collection will end in February. We will let you know how much our school has raised so far in a future show.
BBYA will be meeting next Tuesday at the library. Ms. Brez shared some exciting news that some of the BBYA members had the opportunity to participate in this event in summer and meet John Green, the author of the new book, Paper Towns.
The book also released the audio version at the same time, and students were able to sit in on part of the audio recording. Be a part of BBYA and have the chance to meet authors and read great books. New members are always welcome. Next week, Thursday, November 6th, is Calling All Colors, so make sure to mark it on your calendar.
That concludes this week's general announcements. Now back to the anchors.
Thanks for those announcements. Can you believe we're already into the next season of sports?
The fall teams wrapped up their games and tryouts and practices for this winter sports season. Sports began last week.
Here's Andrew and Jordan. Devin and Jordan with this week's sports report.
Thanks, I'm sports star Devin.
And I'm scientist Jordan. We want to say a special thank you to all the coaches for the first season of sports.
Tryouts for boys basketball began last week.
Girls competitive cheer tryouts also began last week.
Girls swim and dive practice began last Monday and continues this week.
Games will begin soon. As always, if you wish to be a part of a sport, you must have a current physical on file. We look forward to your future games. Next week, we'll bring you some footage from some of our fall season sports final games. Now back to the anchors.
Thanks for that report. I can't believe it's almost November. This Friday is Halloween.
If you are going trick-or-treating, here are just a few reminders to help keep you safe.
Go with the group and stay together. Be careful when crossing streets. It's dark, and cars may not be able to see you well.
Also, be respectful to others' property. Remember, you are getting free candy, so be nice and say thank you.
We are going to send it over to Nadine and JLo with our next report.
Thanks, I'm Nadine.
And I'm JLo. We have a special treat for you today. Last year we shared a Halloween story called The Black Bubblegum. Do you remember? Black Bubblegum is a folktale.
Do you know what a folktale is and what makes it a folktale?
Do you know other examples of folktales?
Did you know that our very own librarian, Mrs. Dobres, is known for her skill in telling folklore? Before we hear this year's special story, let's talk to Ms. Dobres about the art of folklore.
Hi, I'm Amber Kabilski, and I'm here with Miss Dobres, and she's going to tell us a little more about storytelling. So how long has storytelling been around for?
Storytelling has been around as long as we've been around, from the early cave paintings where we told stories about the great hunts that we had, to pourquoi stories, which is French for how and why, that we learned how animals came to be the way they are, or how the world came to be, things that explained natural phenomenon that people didn't know how to explain any other way. They did explain through stories. And of course, all of our cultures have had stories to teach children how to behave better, how to follow their ethics and morals of the cultures that they were raised in, whether they were Bible stories or things like France's story about Little Red Riding Hood that told us to be careful of the big bad wolf.
What are your favorite folk tales?
It's hard to narrow it down. I know some of the favorites for the students are the scary stories, because this display that we do at Halloween time is one of the most popular ones. But the 398.2 section of the library is the folktale section, and there are so many wonderful ones there. Stories from countries from all around the world, stories about different events or that explain things. And some of my very favorite stories are the stories that we tell each other. When you go home and you ask your mom to tell you about something that she did as a child, or you go home and get your dad or a grandpa to tell you a story. I think those are some of the most important stories, is what we share about from our own lives.
Why do people like to hear scary stories?
Well, I think often the world is a scary place, and sometimes it's a little easier to deal with the scary things when you can deal with them in a fictional setting. So a lot of people like to read about them, to read about how somebody faces something with courage and with their brains and uses instinct to become safe. And I think sometimes it just is a good exercise for the imagination as you sit and think about what the story is telling you. And then a lot of people just do them, read them or listen to them because they're fun.
Thanks, Ms. Dobrez, for letting us interview you. I hope all of our students learned something about storytelling. Now back to the anchors.
Thanks, Mrs. Dobrez. Folklore is a great form of literature and very entertaining.
Folklore is the primary start to early literature, the passing on of stories through word of mouth.
Since folklore travels by word of mouth, specific details and even characters may change.
In fact, for folklore to be considered authentic, the story must have to have at least two versions that exist in more than one time and place.
For example, the classic fairy tale Cinderella has more than 1,000 recorded versions, developed from many countries over the years. Folklore can be anything from the fairy tales of Sleeping Beauty, Jules and Bees such as Jack and the Beanstalk, religious stories such as Noah and the Ark, or tales of magic as in Aladdin.
Folklore often includes legends, myths, games, or riddles, as in Rumpelstiltskin.
Thanks for watching our show today. Don't forget to check us out at Channel 21 at 11 a.m. or 5 p.m.
Have a safe and fun day off of school on Friday. Bye!